After completing Doctor Strangelove back in 1964, Stanley Kubrick collaborated with sci-fi author Arthur C. Clarke and created possibly the most iconic greatest film of all time, 2001: A Space Odyssey. Without CGI. All of the visual effects, from the dawn of man to the Stargate sequence, didn't use CGI at all. They were practical visual effects. So, how did they do it? Let's start with the first sequence of the film, the dawn of man. The primates you see here were portrayed by human actors who spent weeks watching apes in the London Zoo, wearing highly sophisticated costumes, masks, and makeup designed by Stuart Freeborn. Only a few infant apes in the film were real baby chimpanzees. However, the other animals, like the leopard, were real. This sequence was filmed on a single studio using a massive, custom-built front projection system. While this isn't the first time it was ever used in a film, it was the largest ever created during that time. The rig featured a semi-silvered mirror and a specialized nodal point head, allowing the camera to pan, tilt, and zoom seamlessly without causing image fringing. These spacecraft and planets weren't created by 3D animation. Instead, they use a painstaking process called health maths. First, they filmed the detailed spaceship models against a black velvet background. Then, they developed high-contrast black and white copies to create a perfect silhouette of the ship. Using a machine called optical printer, they combined the layers. They exposed the stars around the silhouette, rewound the film, and then perfectly stamped the original spaceship footage into the empty space. For smaller tricks, they got creative. They avoided using strings to make the pen seemingly float. Instead, the pen was simply stuck to a clear, rotating glass disc in front of the lens. For the floating astronauts, stunt performers were suspended on wires upside down from the ceiling of the studio. But the most incredible parts of the production were the sets. To simulate artificial gravity on Discovery 1, Kubrick had the aircraft company Vickers Armstrong build a massive 38-foot-wide rotating wheel. It cost a staggering $750,000 in 1968 and functioned like a giant hamster wheel, spinning up to nearly 5 kilometers per hour. The camera was bolted directly to the floor. When the wheel turned, the camera turned with it. This allowed actors to literally walk up the walls and run on the ceiling while the camera stayed perfectly steady. And last but not least, the mind-bending Stargate sequence at the end of the film. Special effects supervisor Douglas Trumbull built a custom slit scan machine. They moved a camera on tracks toward a tiny slit in the screen with bright, abstract artwork behind it. As the camera moved closer, the thin slice of light coming through the slit screen smeared across the open film frame, stretching the image into a glowing 3D perspective corridor. The film's groundbreaking in-camera effects, like the famous rotating centrifuge and the Stargate sequence, won an Academy Award. It proved that sci-fi could offer a visceral, immersive visual experience long before the invention of modern CGI.